It was an F-104 body with super long wings. They were bolt-on wings, each with 4 bolts. It was a jet-powered glider, basically.
Johnson's rival to the X-16 also has a misleading designation. It is called the Lockheed U-2, the U standing for utility. Unlike the X-16, the U-2 is a CIA project, and it has the personal backing of President Eisenhower. Eisenhower wanted intelligence he could rely on, intelligence that was not dominated and directed by purely military concern. As president, it was Eisenhower who had decided that intelligence should be under the control of a civilian agency. Immediately, the CIA began to derail the X-16 project in favor of their own plane, the modified Lockheed F-104 Starfighter. Logic is on their side. The first U-2 is delivered to a secret airbase at Groom Lake, Nevada on July 25, 1955. The Bell X-16 is canceled before the first plane can fly. It is a bitter blow to the Air Force. The first CIA U-2 spy flight over the Soviet Union takes place in June 1956. But General LeMay is not going to give up without a fight. In November 1956, he orders 6 of his RB-57D Canberra reconnaissance planes flying from bases in Japan to make a simultaneous penetration of the Soviet Union. From now on, only the CIA's U-2s are allowed to fly spy missions over Russia. But the story of the RB-57 isn't over. Even the CIA comes to recognize the usefulness of the Canberra. In 1958, the agency sponsors a program known as Diamond Lil, under which Chinese nationalist pilots are trained to fly RB-57Ds, as well as the older Neptunes. But what these recon missions reveal is disturbing. The nationalist Chinese Canberras prove that China has developed its own atomic weapons. The Chinese Canberras would expose one more communist secret. On October 7, 1959, an RB-57D, piloted by Captain Ying-Chin Wang, is on a mission over the Chinese mainland, when suddenly his aircraft is rocked by a thunderous explosion. Wang's Canberra is the first aircraft ever to be downed in combat by a surface-to-air missile. The tiny single-engined U-2s continue to fly alone over Soviet Russia. It is only a matter of time before what happened to Captain Wang's RB-57 happens to the U-2. In Europe, Soviet planes stray out of the designated flight corridors to look at NATO bases in West Germany. Soviet commercial airliners often carry secret cameras to photograph NATO bases under their path. But the Soviet Air Force still lacks a dedicated spy plane comparable to the American and British versions. Work begins in 1957 on a project to create an aircraft that can operate at high altitudes to evade interception. At altitudes above 60,000 feet, the physics of flight are rewritten. A window of only 10 miles per hour exists to fly the plane. Any faster, and you will tear off the long, thin wings. Any slower, and you could tumble out of the ultra-thin air. Reconnaissance pilots call this Coffin Corner. The Mandrake's poor engineering makes it especially prone to disaster in Coffin Corner. But the Red Air Force has no other options, so the Mandrake is ordered into production, even though it lacks